Good afternoon. Today is Monday, April 20, and we are continuing with our online IXL skills. This is the fifth in the series. After we are done with this one and you finish the skill, I'm going to be averaging the scores from the first 5 skills, including this one, to come up with your test score. So please get this done as soon as possible. I had originally had this scheduled to be done for Tuesday, the 21st. I'm moving that to the 22nd. I'm going to start looking for scores then. If you get them done early, I will probably pick those up. But I'm not going to cut you off just because you didn't turn this in on the 21st or the 22nd or the 23rd. Just get it done as soon as possible. All right. This is writing an equation from its vertex and a common point, and this is a quadratic equation we're talking about. So you will be writing a quadratic equation using its vertex and a common point. And the vertex form of the equation, if you'll recollect, is this equation here, which is y equals a times x minus h squared plus k. And the vertex, which we commonly call h and k, and that's what you're seeing here, those are actually the x and y coordinates of the vertex. So you take the x and y coordinates of the vertex, and they're always given to you as h and k. You would put them in here. Then, if a is less than 0, meaning that a is a negative number, then you will know that the parabola opens down. Obviously, if a is greater than 0, that would mean a is a positive number, and the parabola from that would be the graph of the equation would open up. I'm not asking you to graph this. I'm asking you to come up with an equation. Okay? All right. So again, use paper like this. Remember, to get to a score that is better than what you currently have, you must use paper. If you don't, going to get there and your grade will not go up. So I want you to do that. Please make sure you do it. Please make sure that you use a graphing calculator as well. Those are the things that will get you where you need to go. Also pay attention to directions. Okay, so first example we have is example 1, and it says a parabola opening up or down, so we don't know what it is yet, has a vertex of 0, -7, and passes through a point, and that point's coordinates, x and y coordinates are x is 12 and y is 11. Okay? And so we want to write that equation in vertex form, and you'll notice that we also want you to simplify any fractions involved. Okay, so this is the spot for your answer. I'll just put answer over here so you know that's what it is. And I'm going to write over here again the vertex, just to remind ourselves. The vertex coordinates are x or h is 0 and y or k is -7. Okay, so that's your h and your k, and that's the x, y of the vertex. I know I'm being redundant, but I want people to remember that. So now I want to write the equation. So to write it in vertex form, I have to start by plugging in vertex coordinates. But first I need the equation. And if you remember, I showed you the equation in the previous page. You can go back, you can stop, start, rewind, whatever you want to do. You can do it with these. So here's the actual equation, vertex form of a quadratic equation. So that's y equals, and I'm going to put a in red since a and h and k are the things that I want. So a and h and k I'm going to leave in red. So x minus h, and then that's going to be squared, and then plus my k. Okay. All right. So I want to plug in h equals 0. So I want 0 for h, and k is -7. So, and k equals -7. All right, so we know what our h and k is. We're going to put those in now. So I'll rewrite this as y equals, I'll leave the a alone, but I'll keep it in red. And that equals x minus, now h is 0. So I have to put a 0 in there. So x minus 0. And remember, when you subtract a 0, it's the same as adding a 0. It just goes away. You don't do anything more to it. So x minus 0 squared, and then plus, and then we have this -7. So I've got to put that in parentheses. So obviously the sign's going to change there. All right. So now I want to simplify. So that means then that y is going to be equaling a. The 0 goes away, so I'm gonna have ax squared, and then this is plus -7, so -7. And I now have my equation resolved for everything except the a. So I'm going to have to do something about that. Okay? All right. So now I'm going to use the other point of the parabola to solve for a. And you've got to remember that that point was a point with coordinates of 12 for x and 11 for y. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my equation up here and I'm going to rewrite it down here. So let's see, that's going to be, let's just do it this way. Y equals, well, I'm going to make this red. I'm going to make my x and y red because these are red. So I'm going to make my y equal, and then I've got my a, so that's still in red. And my x now is going to be in red, and then squared -7. Okay. All right. So I've just rewritten this. I've just changed some colors on. I just add y and x now. They're in red, but that's only because I'm putting them in here. So I'm going to. First thing I'm going to do is plug in. 12, or x equals 12, and y equals 11. Okay, so I'll even put that in red, 12 and 11. So y is 11, so I'm going to rewrite this as 11 equals a, and then my x is 12 squared -7. All right, so now I'm going to have to multiply, and this is just simplifying, 12 times 12, which, you know, equals 12 squared. I'll just put that in parentheses. And so 12 squared is 12 times 12. And if you aren't sure what it is, get your calculator out. But 12 times 12, if you remember, pretty easy to do. 12 times 12 equals 144. So I'm going to write 11 equals, and I'm going to start to clean this up. I'm going to put the 144 in front of the a. So I'm going to write 144a minus 7. Okay, so now I'm going to do, so I'm going to add 7 to both sides. All right, so That's going to mean, let's see if I can squeeze this in here. Well, we're going to add 7 to both sides, so I'm just going to do it right here. Plus 7, and so I'm going to get 18 equals 144a. And of course, this positive 7 cancels. Now when I get 18 equals 144a, I'm going to have to do this, just a little arrow here. I'm going to continue this over to the right. So I need to divide both sides by 144. So that means I'm going to have 18 divided by 144 equals 144 divided by a. And 18 divided by 144, I don't know what that fraction is going to be, but I do know, oops, I didn't write this correctly. So 18 divided by 144 over 144 divided by 144a. So this cancels. So you get, again, 18 over 144 equals a. So we can reduce this. Reduce. Now how do I know that? Well, let's just check and see if we can. Let's see, I can tell that both of these can be divided by 4. But let me take a wild guess. Let's start out by dividing both sides by 18. So I know 18 divided by 18 just leaves me with 1. Let's try 144, I already have up here, and I'm going to divide that by 18. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. And you see it comes out with 8. So that means then that 18 divided by 144 is 1 over 8. So our answer is 1 over 8 equals a. Now when I say our answer, that's what we're going to plug into our first equation. That was this one, the vertex equation. I want to plug in 1/8 for a up here. All right, so let's rewrite the equation. Y equals a times x squared minus 7, which is exactly the equation that's up here. I've written it down here. Now, we know that 1/8 equals a, so we just simply plug a equals 1/8 into the equation. And we get y equals 1/8 x squared minus 7. So this is going to actually be our answer. Pardon me, that was my phone. And so we're going to put it up here. So y equals 1 over 8 x squared minus 7. And I'm only putting it up here because the book puts it up here. Or the book, I should say, the program puts it up there. Okay, so that really takes you through this skill set. It's pretty easy to do, but recognize as you go, the problems are going to get more complex. There will be more positives and negative numbers. They're going to throw in decimals. They'll do all kinds of little things to confuse you, but use your calculator. If you use your calculator, you should be fine with this. Again, your goal is to get a score here that exceeds the average, or I shouldn't say exceeds the average, but exceeds the score that you got for your third quarter grade. That's the only way your grade is going to go up. Okay? All right, so this is the last of the 5 skills, and once I see this one, I will be able to average your score, give you a grade, and just recognize if I don't see your score in by the end of the week, then I'm going to average the grade without the score. And that means, 20, 40, 60, 80, the maximum you could get would be an 80%, assuming that your other scores were 100%. So you don't want to do that to yourself. Make sure you get all of this done. And make sure you get it done in a timely fashion. I will send you out a reminder that I want to see this no later than Friday, and all the rest of them done as well. I want to start entering grades. And just for all those of you who understand this, Friday is the last day that I can put this test in for your progress report grade. So I can't do it. I have to have it in actually by 12 noon on Friday. So 12 noon on Friday, that's your deadline. You got to have, well, that's not your deadline. Let's say 8 a.m. on Friday, and I will again give you an email in that regard. Okay? All right, that's it. Have a great afternoon. We'll see you later. Bye-bye now.